Okay, so we are moving on to the section called the sutta discussion about a sutta taken from the authentic Buddhist teachings of the Buddha. This sutta is named Mitta. Mitta is the friend. So Buddha talks about who's your friend at different times, at different locations. Let me read the sutta stanzas. They go by stanzas. Usually in this particular sutta and the other many suttas that we've been discussing up to this extent, there were deities, different deities who alighted from heavens and then approached the Buddha and asked different questions. So this question that one of the deities asked was about the friend at different locations. Let me read in Pali first because they were the original words used by the Buddha. Kinsu pavasatu mittang, kinsu mittang sake ghare, kim mittang attajatassa, kim mittang samparaikanti. What's the friend of one on a journey, on a trip? What's the friend in one's own home? What's the friend of one in need? What's the friend in the future life? So looks like it covers house, outside the house, and situations where you need something, and the future life. Because in Buddhism, Buddha talks about rebirth. So same individual, depending on what karmas have been done, up to that extent, depending on the maturity of the karma, that person is reborn in one of the 31 places. So what would be who would be the friend in the future lives? Okay, so this was the answer given by the Buddha in a verse form. Satto pavasatu mittam, mata mittam sake ghare, sahayo attajatassa, hoti mittam punapunan. Sayang katani punyani tang mittang samparaikanti. Okay, so now with the answers, who is the friend for one on a journey? Who is the friend in one's own home? Who is the friend of one in need? Who is the friend in the future life? A caravan is a friend of one on a journey. So what is a caravan? So that's a old type of reference, and like in India at that time, there were carts drawn by ox. So people who had lives outside of the house for some mercantile purpose, they depended on the carts drawn by ox because they carried different things inside the carts. So maybe in today's world, in North America, it could be an RV, right? Recreation vehicle, like when you're camping, like it's kind of a full house, right? Yeah, you bring everything, right? Inside of the RV, you have this table, you have a bed, you have fridge, you have pretty much everything, including a toilet. So, but anyway, so a caravan, because Buddha was talking to the deity depending on the Indian culture at that time. A mother is the friend in one's own home. Now, this again is a kind of a thing we have to think about in today's world. You might not see your mom in your house, right? But in India, because a lot of family members live in the house, even when they are married, they don't move out, so they still try to stay in the house. But probably, like, even if it is not for mom, Buddha talks about 7 wives in one of the suttas. So wife has different nature. So one of the wives is motherly type of wife. So that means like who takes care of everything, house, spouse, and everything in the house. Anyway, it's kind of a nature. So let's say a good lady who can counsel, takes care of the whole everything, right? And then, so the friend in the house. A comrade when the need arises, a good friend when the need arises. So we need to be able to have friends. We deserve to have friends who can really help us, especially when we are in need. Now, there are friends for us when we don't need them. When we really need them, it's very difficult for us to have a good friend by that time. So, looks like a wise, good friend who does not depend on the money, who does not depend on our reputation and job and all these societal stuff. A good friend, wholehearted, good friend. So, and that friend is available when we are in need of something that is really fair enough to expect wish from that person's side. Okay, a comrade when the need arises is one's friend again and again. Okay, now the last friend in the future lives. The deeds of merit one has done, that's the friend in the future life. So that means good karma. So speaking based on the karma, Buddha says we have been affected by a lot of previous karma, but he does not say like we are not affected by the karmas we are making in this life. So we have a responsibility, karmic responsibility, like when we treat us, when we treat other people, we have a karmic responsibility. So we cannot say what everything that we've been experiencing up to now, they are all based on the previous karma. We can't say that. Then somebody can question, then what's the purpose of the free will? What's the purpose of thinking? What's the purpose of our plans, right? So, but pretty much of our experiences and the reasons could come from the previous life. I mean, if you can take a look at why people are different, why things are different, why I was able to be born in a place where I have all the needs, why some people are not privileged to have all the same comfort, same needs, right? So pretty much it may be the previous karma. So anyway, the good karma. So Buddha says we need to do good karma as much as possible. So what are the basic good karmas that Buddha asks us to do? There are 10 skillful activities Buddha asks us to do. They are pretty much about self type of things, but they definitely affect other people. Not killing is a skill. Killing is not a skill, right? But we have some issues like how does a soldier do that thing? It's a different thing. But basically, I mean, if we talk about individuals, we're not supposed to kill, even related stuff. So not killing, not stealing, not misbehaving. That's a big thing. Not misbehaving, like misbehaving in the sense of eating, in the sense of pleasures and everything, right? So when you are addicted to something, it's a problem, right? So it's misbehaving, talking, and all the other normal activities where you cross the boundary that you think you need to be. Not lying, not taking any beverages or food, so that you can, as I told you, make a sound judgment about each situation wisely. And then what else? There are other things, things that you may do based on your speech. Not lying, not talking behind the back, because you can get over your jealousy. You can be happy about you and other people, and talking hurtful words to other people and becoming a gossiper or an idle chatter, right? So these 4 things related to speech. So they are skills. If you can do them, then you have unskilled. They themselves become bad karma. And then good karma related to the mind. Not being envious, not having thoughts of destroying other beings. It could be physical, it could be mental, emotional, bullying type could be social media as well. Can destroy someone's character, right, by using false things, right? So if someone comes up with any thought to destroy other being in whatever the format, it's not a skill, not a good karma. The third one is the wholesome view. Like if our view affects beings really bad, really in a bad way for their lives, then Buddha says that view is not wholesome. In today's world, everybody views the world differently. But the problem is when someone views the world, it affects the beings badly. Could be climate change, could be life, it could be everything. Then Buddha says that view is not good. So we should have a wholesome, holistic, benefiting view. That's what Buddha says as the last one in the list of 10. So anyway, these are the good karmas we need to practice, execute as much as possible. There are other bunch of things, but these are the basic things. These are the things that you create merits for the future lives, right? Although we have no idea about what's going to happen after we die, but we know that these are the things that will help us. If we don't do the good side, then we're going to have bad experiences in the future life. So our friend for the future life or lives are good karma. So these friends will stop at different places, maybe at our death, right? So it doesn't mean we should not keep friends, because Buddha says we should have a good friend all the time in this life, but for the future lives, it's the merit. So this is what Buddha says about friend at different times. So friend outside of your house, friend inside of your house, friend in need, friend for the future life. So that's what Buddha said. Don't take it exactly as he said. He was talking to the Indian culture at that time, but we have to take the context and the nature of how it and how the idea influences us in today's world. Okay, so now we can have a Q&A session. Any questions about what we talked about today, or any questions about meditation in general? Because you two today came for the first time. Anything about meditation? Any difficulties that you experience in meditation? We can discuss about those things now.
The walking meditation, I was very surprised at how unbalanced I felt, unsteady, and I kind of wondered if it's because I'm used to going so quickly all the time. Yeah. And then when it came to the seated, I was very, very aware of how my back hurt and how I kept trying to go back to my breath, but there were a million different reasons that my brain wanted to go in a million different places. So it was a lot of work to actually try and keep coming back to my breath. Whether those distractions were physical or mental.
So one of the reasons I make is this is the first time that you were able to do this. The practice is the thing that I guess that might have affected you, and also I think the speed of walking meditation can affect. Take time, because take time to walk. Don't just walk as you used to walk. It should be neither slow or fast. Take time to, because in the walking meditation what we do is we're going to watch how we walk, not just walk and then think what we're doing. We're going to have a clear picture of how our walking is like, am I being mindful about uh, each movements of my walking as much as I can, but not too much into my one movement, because walking is a thing of many things involved, right? So lifting, uh, we never focus about. I mean, do we really try to see? Am I or are we lifting our foot when we just normally walk, moving, putting down? We never think about it, such things. So that's where. So we walk to watch the walking, but usually before that, normal walking meditation, we just walk for something else, but we walk to be to watch how it is going to happen, how it is working. So maybe the speed, maybe the first day, maybe taking more time. Right? There's no hurry. That's the first thing, and I think that connects the next thing, sitting meditation. So if you don't have a good time in the walking meditation, that may affect the sitting. I That's what I understand. In the sitting meditation, what did you say about sitting meditation?
My
It's a back pain, right?
yes, but that's
Okay.
because I've been sitting in an uncomfortable chair all day. I wasn't training.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's amazing how much my mind wanted. I had something physical to focus on, which was the breathing,
Mm-hmm.
but my mind wanted to do anything but focus on that breathing. Yeah.
And we normally say that we need to keep our back straight,
Yes.
because there are some exceptions for some people who are having hard time, like back pain stuff, like for older folks. But because that helps us to stay focused on the posture, because we are seated on the floor, so it's pretty difficult for some people to stay longer. So that helps one to stay longer and then stay focused on watching that thing. So maybe you've been struggling with your chair the whole day, and plus the first day, and and the pain, I guess, because which came from those irregular sitting.
See, now I'm not feeling it as much though because I'm focused on something else.
Yes. So when you narrow down the same focus to me now, and this it is the same thing that works when you meditate. So you are narrowing down the same focus back to the breath meditation. The same focus, but when everybody is involved with something, that focus can go to a different length. Because when you don't talk anything while the meditation is going on, so for some people it's hard to narrow down that to their own focus, but I think it's a practice, gradually. Like Luke can explain to two of you. I think he's getting really much better, right?
Well, very slowly.
Slowly, yeah.
Yeah. I still have a lot of questions. I'm listening to audiobooks about meditation because it's very complicated.
Mm-hmm.
You can get audiobooks and download them on your phone from the Ottawa Public Library. So I have like 6 on hold right now. It's all about meditation and mindfulness meditation, because it's quite complicated what they do. What Buddhist monks do, and how they're mindful of all the parts of their body.
Yeah, maybe like you've been downloading meditation techniques from different Buddhist styles, different styles. So
Well, that's not what I've been doing, but that's a book, okay, and it's available at the library.
Mhm.
There's the physical one and the audio book one, so you just plug in and listen to it, and it helps me understand.
Mhm.
Like for instance, when we do walking meditation, I shift often between either being mindful of how I'm walking, or just trying to clear my mind of absolutely everything,
Mhm.
and not think about my walking, or just try to clear my mind as if I was sitting. and then I wonder, like I could be standing and doing that, just standing rather, and clear my mind. And then when I walk, I don't know. I start analyzing. Like I analyze. Like, should I think about my knees, about my ankles?
No, no,
about
no.
my
The whole
hips, about
process.
what
You
my
you need to be focused on the movements of the walking, just the walking context, nothing else. Uh, that's what we do with the walking meditation.
Well, like when I walk outside, for instance, I
Mhm.
like to walk outside, and the ground is not level.
Yes.
So when I take a step and I know that it's not level and I know that my foot will not be flat on the ground,
Mhm.
so I think about that because I try to keep straight as possible. So I
Yeah.
know. So I'm wondering, because I'm thinking about how the ground is not level, am I over analyzing it, or is this the whole?
Yeah, over analyzing. That's what I'm saying. When you walk back and forth, when you come to one end of your walking, let's say one point of your walking, you just look ahead of your path whether it is okay or not, because you are doing a meditation. So it's good to do it on a flat place, right?
It's easier, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you are having some insecurities about your walking.
Right.
You can't focus yourself.
Yeah.
Especially you can't pay attention to your walking. So
Right.
find a flat area
Mhm.
to do this, and then you don't need to overthink, overanalyze about any problems involved with your walking. So
Okay.
then it's pretty much easy for you to focus on your walking movements. That's it, and you don't need to clear your mind because you're focusing on your walking.
And the way what she said is because when we do the walking meditation, we walk considerably slower than the pace at which we normally walk. So it's harder to walk. It's harder to walk slow.
Yeah, and
It's-
keep your balance.
Yeah.
That's what I
It's
said.
hard.
You don't need to be too slow, too
Okay.
fast. Find a moderate level of your speed when you walk.
Mhm.
So it could be different from one to one, but it shouldn't be too slow or too fast.
Mhm.
So I can't say this is the speed because we don't use a machine or whatever, right? So you need to think about what could be the best speed which is not too slow or too fast for me to considerably be mindful in my walking.
So people when they meditate, they use mantra. They say a word in their mind. So they say that just to keep them focused on that. And
Yeah.
I'm doing the walking meditation, and I wasn't doing that before, but today I was trying to say a word every time I was taking a step to keep my mind from wandering. So I was sing a mantra in sync with my
Well,
step.
in our style of meditation, we don't use mantras, but we might use like the number of steps 1, 2, 3,
Mhm.
something like that. So
Okay.
the mantras come from a different style.
Mhm.
So we need to clearly focus on one style.
Mhm.
That's what I was guessing. The audio things that you're downloading,
Mhm.
they may be mostly from different styles.
They are.
Yeah,
All
so
different
that's
styles.
what I'm saying. I'm suggesting do one style for some time,
Mhm.
and then when you get used to it to a certain extent, then you
Mhm.
can do other styles.
Mhm.
So I guess you can use replace a mantra with numbers
Mhm.
if you really want. So when you walk, that might help you. When you say 1, you know what's the speed of the second one, 2, 3, the interval between the numbers, right? That might be helpful if you have a problem in making your walking moderate. So 1, 2, 3. But some people don't need to do that. They are naturally okay to keep their walking moderate. Yeah, and I think was it dark when you walk outside?
It was starting to be
Kind of dark, so yeah, it's a problem. Maybe you can walk downstairs if you
Mhm.
don't mind. It's a flat space and no problems. Not on the grass now. Maybe on the because our actually driveway is not even 2,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's a problem too again.
Okay.
I guess the basement might be better
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah, so it's good that you mentioned about the you know not even nature of the your walking pattern.
Yeah.
Then you are concerned about whether I will fall.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to mention that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions about meditation or?
For the walking meditation, is it better to do shorter back and forths or
Yeah.
just one long?
It
Or-
depends. It depends. Like this place is a very small place, so I may walk up to the end of the rug. You may walk up to the end of the wall. So it depends. Maybe there are many people, so we have to accommodate, right? So it doesn't matter. What matters is whether you can be really mindful, can watch your walking. That's what matters. Nothing about the space. If you can simply do that. Okay.
Yeah, I had the same as you. Like sitting down, I try to concentrate on my breathing, but then my mind wanders, and then I try and bring it back, and then
Yeah.
it wanders, and it's just constantly
Normal.
trying.
It's a normal thing, as I said. It's
It's
normal.
practice, I guess.
Yeah. So when that running around, if you cannot understand that my mind is running around, it's a problem. But if you know that, oh, my mind is running, so then you are making your effort to bring it back to the focus. That's what needs to happen. Because our raw thoughts are really running around. That's how we're gonna, exist to live, right? If our mind is not distracting, we can't live in this world. That's what gives us to live. But when that is happening over and over, it could be a problem. So we need to concentrate, put our mind into a place that we can focus on one thing. Okay, so let's share all the good karmas with the deities as an appreciation and the departed relatives. Idamme nyati nang hotu sukhita huntu nyatayo. Idamme nyati nang hotu sukhita huntu nyatayo. Idamme nyati nang hotu sukhita huntu nyatayo. May all the deities share in all these good karmas. May they protect all of us. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata chammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata chammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata chammehi sambatang punya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummatta punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting so far help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We monks going to bless all of you with couple more stanzas. Abhivadana silis nichang vadda pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. As a respect to the Buddha's teachings, let's bow down 3 times.